Shalom to the nation of Israel. This is Barzal coming in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of your millstone and to the hopeful elect push his word and truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. This is me a quick one titled actually not very, but there's much work to be done. Right? There's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work. So, if I'm someone, who is poor, let's say it's poor, I don't have money, and then I get hired by this job. Right, I'm working the job, and they're saying there's overtime, there's triple overtime. You might have to stay a lot more hours. You might not even get as much sleep. You might lose on sleep. Would I say no if I actually need the money? I'm a poor individual. I have a lot of bills to pay, right? A lot of debts that I owe. Am I gonna say no to this money? No, I'm gonna say yeah. I'll choose me, boss, me. I'll do it. I'll do the overtime. I'll do the triple overtime or the double overtime. Put me on for all of those, right? Because you're eager, you have that urgency, because you have bills to pay. You have bills to pay. You have bills to pay. You owe a lot of money, right? Right, and you're poor, so you're gonna jump on that opportunity. Right, you're gonna jump on that opportunity. So the same thing is true, right? We are all poor, right? We're poor. We're becoming rich in this truth spiritually. Right? But when we first come into this truth, we're poor. We're poor spiritually. Because you have to remember, you have to pay for all the things you did in the world. But you have an opportunity to redeem yourself. Right? You have an opportunity to become rich spiritually. You have an opportunity to build your trust back with Yahweh Shem Shai. You have an opportunity to be one of the elect. Right? You have an opportunity to be saved out of the upcoming destruction. You have an opportunity to be saved from the MOTB. You have an opportunity to be one of the first fruits, one of the first ones that get the first bodies, right? And come back as New Jerusalem, right? You have an opportunity for all these things. So if you have an opportunity for all these things, shouldn't you just move? Shouldn't you be moving with haste and righteousness, right? Urgency, in a diligent matter, in a consistent matter, in a disciplined matter, right? With humility, shouldn't you be moving like that? Right? So Proverbs 13:4, the soul of the sluggard desireth and hath nothing. So the soul of the sluggard, he wants all these things. Oh, I want to be rich spiritually. I want to be one of the top guys in the kingdom, right? I want to be I want to move up in ranks in the camp, right? I want to know more of the knowledge, which is the understanding of Yahweh Shem Shai. I want to know more of the breakdowns. I want to know all these things, right? I want my woman to respect me. I want to be able to know how to handle her, But you don't want to do any of the fucking work that's required to get those things. You just want to sit there and be a daytime dreamer, dreaming about all these amazing things, but never put any action to do with them. Have all these plans, but no action, right? So it says the soul of the sluggard desireth and have nothing. He had nothing because the soul of the sluggard, all he's an imagination person. He always imagines things. Well, I imagine this, I imagine that. Or imagine having multiple women and stuff like that. Blah, blah, blah. But they don't do anything. So that's why they have anything. That's why they don't have nothing. They have nothing. They're poor. Right? They're fucking poor. Right? But the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. So the diligent is the elect. They're going to be working. They're going to be on that field working. They're going to be going for overtime. They're going to be going for double overtime. They're going for triple overtime. They're going to be working. They're going to be proficient in what they're doing. Right? Yes, everyone's on different levels. Everyone has different levels of talents. Right? Some giving 50, some 20, some 30. Right? But the point is they're going to be maxing out the talents and bringing more. Right? They're going to be doing that. So they're going to be spiritually fat. Why are they supposed to be fat? Because they're spiritually eating. They're eating this roll. They're eating the roll. They're drinking the water. They're drinking the wine. They're eating the honey. Right? They're eating the meat. They're drinking the milk. Right? Which is this truth. So they're going to be spiritually made fat. Right? And another way of saying they're going to be fat with a fat bank account. Their pockets are going to be fat spiritually. Right? They're going to be balling spiritually. Those are the diligent, which are the elect. Right? So that's why I said there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work. So if you're someone who's poor, right? Spiritually, you want to be made rich, then you start fucking working. Start fucking working, right? Let me pull this real quick. Galatians 9 and 6. Galatians, Slovakia. Is it Galatians 9 and 6? That's what I said, right? Oh, the side backwards. Galatians 6 and 9. Slovakia. Right, so Galatians 6, and I'll start at 7. Be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked. Right? So you're not tricking the Most High. If you're someone who's lazy, you're not tricking the Most High. You can't trick the Most High into paying you spiritually. That's not how it works. You can't trick him like, oh yeah, he saw me do these certain things, okay? Because you're thinking, and you know what? If you think you're tricking the Most High, it's because you're looking at men. I think because you trick brothers into thinking you're someone that you're really not, that you're tricking the Most High. Because you think the Most High, you're focusing on physical things, carnal things, right? The outward appearance. You're focusing on things that you see. So you think that because you deceive brothers, that you're tricking the Most High. You're not tricking the Most High. You're not tricking the Most High. And on top of it, you only think you're deceiving brothers. Just because they don't say anything doesn't mean they're not aware. That's another thing that people don't take account for. So you're not tricking anyone, really. Even if you decided to trick brothers, even if you were capable of doing that, you're not tricking the Most High. You're not tricking Yahweh Shai. You're not tricking Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. You're not tricking the angels. Right? So be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So if you're not doing any work, you're not going to get any money. Right? If you're not eating any food, you're not going to get fat. Right? You're not lifting any weights, you're not going to get stronger. You're not going to put on any muscle. Right? And I'm talking about in the spiritual sense, but that also means in a carnal sense too. Like in the world, the same rules apply. Right? Now, only the difference in the world, you got people that are cheaters. The people that are lazy, that somehow make money. There are people that they find loopholes, right? They're lazy. They find all these quick schemes to get money. But the thing with those quick schemes or the shortcuts, it always leads to something bad, and they have to do more shortcuts to double up on what they just did previously, right? So it just leads to more wickedness, right? But the Yahweh Shai rules in the kingdom of men. So even though the world is Esau's kingdom that he's ruling right now, Yahweh Shai's rules still are implemented there. It's just that it's not what's the word? It's not established, or it's not pushed. It's Esau's rules that are pushed. But Yahweh Shai's rules still play even in the world. They still play. They still play out, right? As the scriptures say, Yahweh give it to whoever, give it the kingdom to whoever he, roughly paraphrasing. I'm gonna try. I don't want to misquote it. Let me read this first, and I'll come back to that. Okay, so I remember now. Yahweh ruleth in the kingdom of men, and give it to it whosoever he give it to the base of men. Roughly paraphrasing. So the point is, what I'm saying is that he ruleth in the kingdom of men. So at the end of the day, he still rules. So his rules still apply. It's just that this kingdom was given to a base man, to a wicked man. So he's pushing his wicked decrees and his wicked rules. But yeah, how his rules still apply? If you work a job, you work a lot, you get a lot of money. You know you might have to pay taxes, etc. But if you work 5 hours, you get 5 hours of pay. If you work 10 hours, you get 10 hours pay. It's very fucking simple. Right? Yes, like I said, you got the guys at the loopholes and the tricks and all that stuff. But those people have the reward. Don't watch those people, because all that stuff is going to catch up with them. Like it just said, right? It says, but be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked. So Yahweh is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So all those people that are tricking people, stealing from people, robbing people, and they think they got rich because they stole that money, eventually Yahweh Shai is gonna get, you're going to have to pay that tab back 7 times over. Right? It's going to happen where you least expect it. So verse 8. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Right? So there's a lot of spiritual work to be done. So you should be focusing your time on the sowing in the Spirit, not sowing in the flesh. Right? So you have to see where your time is going, right? If you don't have time to do certain things spiritually in the truth, then maybe you need to start taking away time from things that you're doing in the world, right? You're doing too much in the world then if you don't have time to do these things in the truth. Because you have to, like I said, I started off this lesson. Are you not poor? Right? If you think you're rich, I'm telling you, you're not. Right? You're not. Right? And even if you do have spiritual money, I always like to, if it was me, I always think like I'm poor. Because if I'm poor, I'm gonna keep working. I'm not gonna let off the gas. I'm not gonna take my foot off the gas. I'm not gonna slow down because I'm thinking to myself that I'm poor because I really am. Right? Yeah, you're only rich until you get into the chariots. That's really the best way to explain it. Until you get into the chariots, then you're rich. Until then, you're not rich. You're poor spiritually. Right? You got to think like that. And that's a humble way of thinking. That's gonna keep you honest. Right? Doesn't mean you won't be growing spiritually. You will definitely see it. Right? But to always humble yourself, just think that you're still at the end of the day, you're not rich because you're not in the chariots. Even though you might be growing from year 1 to year 5 or year 1 to year 20, year 1 to year 15, whatever. If you've grown a long way, you see how you were back in the past, right? At the end of the day, you won't be able to collect any of that money because until you get into the chariots, right? Think of that as like a clause in the contract. If you don't make it into the chariots, then you're not one of the elect. If you're not one of the elect, then you're not going to be part of New Jerusalem, right? You're not going to reap all the benefits of being one of the elect. I'm not saying if you're one, if you're Israel, you come back in the kingdom, you're still going to be living as Israel. You're going to be, you're going to be perfect, but you're going to walk with your head down for a little bit, right? And you have to come back as a baby, right? So, like I said, it's just a humble way of thinking. Last one, read in verse 9, and let us not be. No, that was it. Okay, so let's go to Revelation. I think it's Revelation 3. That's the one. Hold on, Slakia. Okay, Revelation 3 and 17. Revelation 3 and 17. Because thou sayest, I am rich, and increase with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched, and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked, right? So, you have to, it's a humble way of thinking, but think of it like that, in the sense that, you were given everything you have, so everything you were given, you can easily be taken away, right? And really think of it like this: compared to the Most High, you really ain't shit in a sense, in a humble way of saying, right? In a humble way, and I say that because he can take it. He can take anything away at any time, right? Yeah, how Bashir Shai has the mentality like, "What have you done for me lately?" I don't care about what you did in the past. That might give you some mercy here and there, but what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me today? Right? What have you done for me yesterday? He's more like that, just like a woman, right? She's like, oh, I used to do all these, I did all these things for you, but what are you doing right now? Maybe right now she's being a fucking demon, right? So it always keeps you accountable. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you honest to realize that you can be replaced at any fucking moment, right? Don't think because you did all these things for me in the past that I won't get rid of you if you start going off right now. You start being disrespectful right now. You start being disobedient right now, right? You start breaking my rules right now. Don't think I won't get rid of your ass. I can replace you very easily. And it's true. Yahweh Shai can replace any of us very easily. Just like as if he was dealing with a woman. So thinking like that will keep you honest, right? It'll keep you humble. Thinking that you're something because now you have knowledge, wisdom, understanding. All right, you're above brothers, right? You have some brothers that you brought in, so now you think you're the shit. That's a wrong mentality to have. That's that mentality of pride. And you know what Yahweh Shai says about pride. Pride becomes before wow, the tongue twister. Pride comes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. right? And also says that he Yahweh Bashir Shai resisted the proud. So he doesn't deal with people that are prideful. Anything, he just gets rid of them. You know? Right? So that's verse 17 is the individual that thinks that they're rich, right? Maybe they did a couple of things and they think that they're rich, right? They're in the truth, they've done it, they've been doing a couple stuff here and there, right? But they're not really pushing. They're doing the minimal requirement, but they're not really pushing, right? So now they think they're rich. No, they're really poor, right? Because as the levels increase, as you continue in this truth, the requirement to stay on that level increases, right? The requirement to level up on that level increases. So you got to do more work, right? And more quality work, right? So verse 18, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayst be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayst be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayst see, right? So that's what Yahweh Shai wants you to do with yourself, first and foremost. And, if he uses you to bring other brothers in, also with that too, right? Because he said to take his talents and bring in more, right? So that also means with yourself, become more of what you're supposed to, of what you were when you first started. So you got to grow in this truth, and also bring other brothers in, right? Right? And you want to be a better tool to be used to bring other brothers in. That's how I should really be saying it. Because it's not really you bringing them in, right? But you need to be doing the work, studying, so the Yahweh Shai can use you to bring these brothers in, right? Bring the elect in, right? His fruits. So you got to be working. So the more videos you do, right? You don't know who's watching your videos. On top of it too, you don't know who's watching your videos. Okay, so let me go. First Corinthians. Like I said, so the main topic of this lesson is there's much work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done. 1 Corinthians 9, oh boy, and 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain. Right? So you're in a race, so you gotta run. But you want to be a lazy guy. It's like, oh well, you know what? I was able to join the race, so I'll just jog. I'll go for a quick jog. I'll go for a jog. I'll just walk. But it's not that type of race that's referred to. It's a race that you have to sprint. Right? There's different types of races. There's a race where it's a long distance race. There's races that are sprints, right? So this truth we're in, it's both at the same time. It is a long distance race, and it's also a sprint, right? Because you do have to pace yourself in this truth. You have to know your pace. You have to have a good pace, and you have to know your own pace. But at the same time, you got to be sprinting to get better, right? Within your pace. You see? Hence why you got to know yourself. You got to know how you run. You got to know how the best way for you to run. Hence why you got to examine yourself, right? It says, verse 25, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. So temperate goes into the word balanced, right? Balanced, right? They know when to sprint, and they know when to stop. They know when to walk. They know when to jog. They know when to get hot. They know when to get cold. They know when to get angry. They know when to stay calm. That's someone who's very, very, very in tune with himself. In tune with himself is in tune with Yahweh Shai. Right? That's someone that's not afraid of being. And another thing is you can't be afraid of being by yourself. You can't be afraid of being alone, because that's actually when the most growth happens. If anything, is when you're on your own. Right? Because you're building a relationship with Yahweh Shai. And the more you get comfortable being by yourself, is the more you get comfortable being, the more closer you're going to get to Yahweh Shai. Right? Because it's forcing you to rely on Yahweh Shai because you're on your own. When you have people around you all the time, you're not really forced to rely on Yahweh Shai. You kind of rely on other people for this and for that. But when you're on your own, You're forced to rely on Yahweh Shai. And it should get to the point where you should actually look to be on your own. You actually want to be on your own. You actually put yourself in situations to be on your own, right? And you look at the prophets, majority of the time, if not almost all the time, they were on their own when a lot of this stuff happened to them. A lot of the change and the growth happened to them is when they were on their own. They might have had people around them, but they were away from the present family, you know? Maybe they had to go live with a cousin or whatever the case may be. But they're on their own now. They don't really know anyone. They're on their own working, right? And that's how you build your relationship. And there's a lot of times where they were just actually on their own. So the point is that the prophets, if you look at their stories, they're never afraid of being on their own. They were never afraid to go on these journeys on their own. They were never afraid because they had faith. They believed. They knew Yahweh Shai was always there with them, right? Hence why in Adam, or sorry, Adam, in Genesis, where it talks about, I forgot where, but it said that's when, I'm quoting it, it says that's when men started to call upon the Lord, right? The sons of God. That's why a lot of things in Genesis it said Yahweh walked with him, right? Because he was always there. He was walking with them, and they believed it, and they felt it because they built a relationship with Yahweh Shai, right? Through the work that they've been doing, and through the work that they're doing, they're proving themselves to Yahweh Shai to trust him with more, right? So you gotta take it very seriously. 1 Corinthians 15 and 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. For as much as ye know that your labor is not vain in the Lord, right? So your labor is not vain. He's going to repay you for the work that you're doing, right? And he repays you for the work that you're not doing, whether good or bad, right? So go to Hebrews 4 and 11. Hebrews 4 and 11. Let us labor, therefore, to enter into the rest. So what's the rest? It's in the kingdom, right? We're going to rest in the kingdom. But right now we got to work. That's why the scriptures also say, this is not our rest, for it is sorely polluted and should destroy you with a sore destruction, right? So this place is wicked. So you shouldn't be resting here. You shouldn't be lazy here in a wicked society. That doesn't make any fucking sense. You should want to get the fuck out of this society. And the fastest way to get out of here is by working, right? Is by working. The more work you do, the faster we get out of here, right? The more work you do, the more Yahweh Shai helps you, right? Right, and the scriptures also say much idleness teaches much wickedness. So when you're idle, when you're idle in a wicked society, when you're idle with your flesh, you're going to be up to wicked things, right? So it's better to engulf yourself in this truth, like it's your woman. Even when you're not, let's say you're in your downtime, you already did your videos, you did your lessons, you studied, you should still be thinking on spiritual things. Even when you watch a movie, you should be thinking about spiritual things. You should be discerning the movie and breaking it down and using the scriptures to explain certain things. That's how you still stay in the spirit, right? So it says, okay. Yeah, so you want to work right now also, I was going to say too, you want to work right now also to be into the rest. The rest is in the kingdom when you get the bodies. You get the spirit, the law of such a put in your inward parts, in your mind. So you're just perfect, right? You get the chariots, right? Then you have the land, you have the castles, you have the women, you have the money, everything. Then you go on different planets and everything. That's when you're chilling. You're not working. In the kingdom, we're not going to be working. We're going to have slaves. We're not going to be working. But now it's the time to fucking work. It's the time to work. Right? And you have that spirit of a sluggard on you. You need to pray to the Most High to take that spirit off of you. Pray. That's part of the work too. You got to pray. You got to pray to Yahweh Shai. You have to show him that you seriously want to change. Right? You got to show him. Right? You got to beg. Because remember, we were all wicked. We were all doing wicked things in the world. So you don't remember all the things. You might not even remember all the things you were doing in the world before you came to the truth. But you don't even remember the things that you did in your past life. So you remember, Yahweh Shai remembers all those things. So you should be coming on knees, begging. Right? Begging. He's giving you opportunity for you to redeem yourself with him, right? Through his son Yahweh Shai. And you're being lazy. So what do you think? How do you think he's gonna take that? Lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. You see? So let's go to Hebrews. Almost done. Hebrews 6 and 10. For Yahweh is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love. See? He doesn't forget. Which ye have shewed toward his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. Right? So he's talking about the past stuff you did and the present things you're doing. That's what he said, ministered and minister. Right? So what you do in the past, he doesn't forget that. But what you can't stop because of what you did. Oh, I did enough in like the past 10 years. I did the truth for 10 years. I did 10 years. 10 years I was going strong. But these last 5 years I'm going to chill. Let off the gas a little bit. Okay, like I said, he has that. Yahweh Shai has that, the mind of like, what have you done for me lately? Yeah, I know what you did in the past, but right now it seems like you're slacking. So you're getting lazy. Or you don't believe in me anymore? You think because you did that stuff in the past that you're good, that I won't get rid of you? If you start to disrespect me, you start to be disobedient. All right, is he jealous power? Right? And if you're not, and you have to think of it like this also, if you're being lazy with him, right, you're being diligent with someone else. So when you're being lazy, you're not putting time into him, so you're being diligent with someone else. Who are you being diligent with? You're being diligent with Satan. Because if you're not focusing on, if you're not on the right path, you're on the wrong path. It's one or the other, right? And like the scriptures say, you cannot serve two masters, for you love one and hate the other, right? For you despise one and hate the other. Roughly paraphrasing, right? So I'm going to read to 11. And we desire that every one of you do shew the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end. So you're supposed to do it to the end. When you're in the chariots, that's the end for us. Not even when you're getting beaten up. Even then, you still gotta be prayed. When you're in the chariots, then you made it, right? Your body gets changed. Then you made it, right? And that's just a humble way of thinking like that. Yeah, so that's on that. The point's been made. Right, close out by saying, Kahala Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Racha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles of the Great Millstone and to the Hopeful Lake, which is word and truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. Abad Babal, Kwame Yasharallah, and Shalom.